What up, guys? Let's get going on this angle relationships problem here, or practice problems. So, first of all, these words do need to be memorized, but there's going to be a word bank for us on the actual test. So that's going to be nice of which words you're going to use. So when you're on the actual test, make sure you have that word bank ready to go. But for now, you probably want to have your notes out somewhere so you can look at which words are which. But this very first one, we're going to name all of the possible relationships here. So this very first one, anytime you see that little box, automatically you should be thinking the word complementary. Please note that is not spelled with an I, but spelled with E's over here. And that's because it's a little bit different than when you compliment somebody. It's going to be meaning these are going to be adding up to 90. In addition, these ones are right next door to each other. Anytime they're right next door to each other like that, when they share a side, we call them adjacent. We have another adjacent angle right next door to it. So over here on question 2, this one is also going to be adjacent. And again, adjacent means right next door to each other. They're right there. They're sharing that same exact side. So after you've done that word adjacent, the other two words for this one, these are going to be a linear pair because they form a straight line. And they are supplementary. Straight lines always make... Sorry about my handwriting. That's supplementary. Man, oh man, I'm going to have to improve my handwriting in future questions here. They add to 180. Let's move on to question 3. I don't even think I need to move it all that much. I'm just going to move it up. So these ones, when they are on opposite sides of a cross, these ones definitely are. Opposite sides of a cross are called vertical angles. And vertical angles are always equal to each other. Question 4, these are only adjacent. Oops, forgot a letter. There you go, adjacent. Number 5, one of the key concepts when you're working through these problems, in case you just didn't really quite understand what was going on, I'm going to kind of go through it. What you want to do is you want to focus where the line is touching the problem. So these two are that are being, like the two letters here are both touching the same exact line here. We call this the transversal. And while that's not the name of the relationship, it's what we're interested in. We're not interested in this line at all. We literally don't care about it in any way, shape, or form. After we've looked at the transversal, there's going to be different sides of the transversal. There's going to be like the left hand and the right hand. For some of them, it's like the below and the above. But for this one, they are on different sides of this transversal. That's the first thing you're asking yourself, which sides are you on? So because they are on different sides, we're going to use the word alternate for those different sides. So, and what kind of alternates are they? Well, they can either be alternate exteriors or alternate interiors. If you notice here, these guys are going to be on different sides of the line, but they are on the inside. Like this would be the inside here, and this would be the outside, because it's on the outside of these two lines. So here's the alternate interior. And by the way, that's like one vocab word. I just couldn't fit it in here. On number 6, these two are both on that same transversal. So yet again, we're looking at a transversal question, but they're on the same side, but one's on the inside, one's on the outside. They're both in the bottom left-hand corner. Anytime they're both in the same corner, the word that we use is corresponding. Corresponding angles are always going to be equal to each other. By the way, so are alternate interiors. Let's check out the next couple questions. On number 7, these ones again are on opposite sides of the line. So we're going to start with the word alternates. But they're on the outside. Because they're on the outside, we're going to use the word exterior. Alternate exterior angles. And these guys are also equal. These two, though, are on the same side. They're both above. So anytime they're on the same side, we use the word same side. These are called same side, and they're on the inside, so same side interior. They're both in the middle. Same side interiors are also automatically supplementary, which means that they add to 180 degrees. Holy moly, that's a bad 180. Let's finish this up. These last two are repeats of previous answers. This one's going to be an alternate interior angle. And we don't need to use the word angle there. They are equal. And this one has that box. The box is always meaning complementary. These guys are adding up to 90 degrees, and they are adjacent. All right, well, there we go for our first couple questions. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual problems with the math questions here. Now, for these math problems, I am definitely going to need to grab myself a little bit of a calculator. I'm going to pause. If I can find the pause button. Oh, I don't even know if I have a pause button. Yikes, Mr. Richards. Oh my, I do not have a pause. I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. I don't even know if I have a calculator anywhere nearby. I do! We're safe, guys. We're safe. I apologize for the delay in the video. Normally I pause, but my pause button has been moved. I reinstalled OBS. What are you going to do? All right. So anyways, the main idea on this page, we want to make sure that we're on top of it. So what you're going to do is at the very top of the page, we're just going to write down all the possibilities. Either the two angles are going to be equal to each other. In this problem, the angles are representing x and y. So our x and our y here, I'm saying either equal to each other, or they add up to 90, or they add up to 180, or they add up to 360. There are not going to be any other possibilities for this situation. They can only be the equal, they're adding up to 90, adding up to 180, or they're adding up to 360. That's all that's going to happen for this whole worksheet, and honestly, for most of this this entire year, really. So here we go, number 11. You have to see that circle going all the way around. You should be thinking 360. So we just got to add all those angles up. B plus 28 plus 297 is equal to 360. Or in other words, B is equal to 360 minus the other ones. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to subtract them over there. And if you do all that subtraction correct, I believe from class this one was 35. I'm going to double check, make sure I'm remembering correctly. It sure is. It's 35. If you want to put the degree symbol, you can. I ain't doing it right now. Here we go. Number 2, straight lines. Straight lines add up to 180 every single time. B plus 55 is equal to 180. We'll subtract 55 on both sides. I'm showing maximum work. You do not need to show this work on the actual test. We can do this in our heads. That one's going to be 125. Let's keep on moving. The good news, number 13, is super simple because they're alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles are always equal to each other, so we just write B equals 89 and we're done. We see a little box. The little box means 90. B plus 30 equals 90. Subtract 30, and we get B is equal to 90 minus 30. B is equal to 60. Bada bing, bada boom. Moving on, number 15. On number 15, they are on opposite sides of a cross. That means they are vertical angles. Vertical angles are always equal to each other. Number 16, these are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are always equal to each other. So simple. Number 17, these guys are going to be alternate exteriors. They're always equal to each other. Oh my gosh, this is the easiest assignment ever, Mr. Richards. We don't even need to do this many problems. You're probably right. You're probably right. These ones are same side interiors, so they add to 180. Really hope I haven't made a math error on these either. I'm saying they're so easy, and then I'm going to go make a mistake. We see a little right angle. There's two ways to think about this. The two ways to think about it is, first, is because that's a right angle, the whole thing must be a right angle. So you could think about it as B plus 34 is equal to 90. And then B is equal to 90 minus 34, and B is equal to 56. That's fine and all well and good. Or you could think about it as, or it's going to be B plus 34 plus 90 equals 180. But if you notice, by subtracting 90 on both sides there, you end up with the same situation as up here. You get the same answer, doesn't matter. Same exact concept on this one. Number 20 over here, B plus 68 equals 90. B is equal to 90 minus 68. B is equal to 20 dos. Here we go on the 21. On number 21 and the rest of them, we have to solve for x. So we have to set up that equation just like last time. You set them equal to each other. After you set them equal to each other, solve for x. Sometimes they're not always equal, by the way. Sometimes they add to 180. Sometimes they add to 360. You got to think about it for yourself. So this 4x plus 3 is equal to 71 because they are alternate exterior angles. Now, some people were really struggling with these types of questions in the test where you had to solve for x. All I got to tell you is you got to practice. You got to actually try it yourself. You have to pause the video, make an attempt on your own, and then get help from me. You can't just like go blindly through this entire thing the entire year. You got to make sure you're actually making an attempt. So here we go. We're going to divide this thing down the center. When you divide this down the center, you're going to choose that x's go on one side and not x's, the constants, go on the other. So we have 4x, we have equal to, that 71 is copied. However, this 3 right here, this 3 is being picked up and moved over here. When you move something across to the other side, it becomes a negative. There you go. And now we're going to keep that 4x copied, equals 71 minus 3 is 68. Now we're actually going to finish the problem by dividing both sides by 4. Anytime you have a number smushed up next to a letter like that, it means multiply. And in order to undo your multiplying, you divide. So divided by 4 there, the 4's do in fact cancel out. And we got x is equal to 17 if you do that division there. By the way you could do this in your head, how I did 68 divided by head, I'm thinking about how 68 is the same thing as 60 plus 8. I also know that when I divide by 4 here, 60 divided by 4 is 15, 8 divided by 4 is 2. I knew 60 divided by 4 because I'm thinking about an hour. A quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So there's 15, 15, 15, 15, and an hour there. That's where we get the 60 from. And then finally 15 plus 2 gives you 17. That's how I was doing that in my head, by the way. You can do the same thing if you're willing to put the effort into practicing. 79 plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 180. That's how you start a question like this. Then we divide right down the center. After we divide down the center, we copy the stuff that's in the right spot. In this problem, only those two are in the right spot. Then you pick this one up over here and you move it to the other side. You pick this one and you move it to the other side, minus 79. Minus 2. Seeing that movement really helped a lot of students in class today, so hopefully it's helpful to you as well. 180 minus 79 minus 2. Use your calculator if you see fit. You're going to get 99. We're going to divide both sides by 3. Divide both sides, we get 33. Boom. Number 23, here we go. So number 23, these two things are equal to each other because they are vertical angles. Vertical angles are always equal to each other. 5x plus 3 is equal to 58, showing less work this time. So what do we do on this one? It's almost identical to this one where we subtracted 3 on both sides. So while you're doing a question like this, you want to compare it to a problem like this, do a problem like this, you're like, you know what? I can do these steps in my head. I trust myself. 58, I know I'm subtracting 3. I know this is going to become a 55, and then we write the 5x. So what happened? That 3 moved to the other side. It became a negative 3. In this one, we subtracted 58 minus 3 is 55. You can do this too. I believe in you. Divide both sides by 5, you get 11. That would be the minimum amount of work shown, would be a question like this. Number 24, for these ones here, we have 70 is going to be equal to 4x plus 2. So 70 is going to be equal to 4x plus 2. We're going to subtract 2 on both sides. We're going to get 68 is equal to 4x. So it's exactly that same concept. Take that negative 2, move it over. Divide both sides by 4. We already had this question earlier. 4x equals 68. Same as number 21, actually. 17 equals x. Moving on to the last 6 questions here. This number 25 is yet again another equal to each other situation. That one's pointing to this. So we have 4x plus 2 equal to 78. You might be getting good at these by now. We got 76. Divide both sides by 4. You get 19. I know you could do it too. Let's move on to this one a little bit different. So this one we have 3x plus 1 plus x minus 1 equals 180 because they're both on the right-hand side of that transversal. They are in between the two lines, so we would say same side interior. When you're doing a question like this, sometimes you can just notice when things cancel out. When I have a plus 1 and a minus 1, that's the same thing as 0. They're just gone. 3x and x together is going to be 4x. Divide both sides by 4, and you'll get 45. Beautiful. Move on to number 27. All these guys are going to add up to a total of 360. So you just have to go ahead and subtract them all up. If I remember right, this one was also 35 this morning. I could attempt to do this in my head. I've just been telling you guys to do stuff in your head and look at me being lazy. Oh my gosh, it is 35 in fact. And on this one, we have an x plus 2 plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 90 degrees because we have that box. Yet again, if you want to, you can make it look like a previous question, or you can just start copying stuff. I'm going to divide this one down the middle and show all the work. X plus 2x is equal to 90 minus 2 minus 1. X and 2x is 3x. 90 minus 2 minus 1 is in fact 87. Divide both sides by 3. 29 is your final answer. Last two questions. Let's do it. So my last two questions here. These ones going to be on a straight line, so that means they add to 180 for sure. 6x plus 4 plus 3x plus 14 is equal to 180 degrees. Some people don't like to do the movement right away. They like to add like terms first. You could do that. You could say, hey, I have the 6x and this 3x. They're going to combine together to be a 9x. And then you could do the same exact thing. Maybe you do like a little triangle or something around it. I heard a little box or a little hut. There you go. Those two come together over here. And that's going to be plus 18. So you could do it like I've been doing it, where you divide down the center, or you could do it like this. This is not a requirement. This is just another way of going about it. So this is how some people like to do these questions. And then after that, they might subtract 18 on both sides like this. We're going to kind of go old school with it. This is how it was taught to me when I was much, much younger. I always skipped these steps. I thought it was a waste of time. Divide both sides by 9 now. Showing max work on this question. Dividing both sides by 9. The 9's cancel, and you get x is equal to 18. By the way, how I did that in my head is exactly the same as that previous concept, by the way. If you wanted to think about this one here, if I were to do 180 divided by 9, I would get 20, because 20 times 9 is 180. And if I were to do this one divided by 9, I would get 2, and 20 minus 2 gives you the 18. So you could have actually done that. Just a cute little trick for yourself. And here we go. Question number 30. Question number 30. We got x minus 6 plus x minus 58 plus 232 is equal to 360. I'm going to do my divide down the middle method, but I'm going to be trying to be a little bit neater with it. X plus x is equal to 360 plus 4 plus 58 minus 232. 2x is equal to, we got to do a little bit of calculator work because I am lazy with the addition. What do you know? Equals 190. Divide by 2, and x is equal to 95. And we're all done. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.